Go to the delight of this Buffalo crowd. It was the Bills racing out of the tunnel as they get set to match up with the Indianapolis Colts. And we are underway in Buffalo. And they will elect to not bring this one out as our first drive will begin at the 25. The kind of tackling they want to see all game as he'll lose yardage to start things out. Call it officially a loss of 2 on the first play from scrimmage. Second down. Garoppolo looks to throw. He gets this one complete to Bowden. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face third down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion that would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
And that nearly an opening drive INT, but it does fall incomplete. Not the way he wanted to start this ball game as it brings up fourth down. He was only asked to punt once in the victory last week as he sends this one away. That'll be a 41-yard punt, just 1 yard on the return. And the Bills will take over the football with a 1st and 10. Allen and the Bills now with a 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. Now the Georgia Southern man, it's Matt Breida. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4. Well, this defense for the Colts, they were very good in the win last week against Jacksonville.
And one of the key things you always look for when you're evaluating a defense is how opportunistic are they? How many takeaways do they get per game? And how about last week's game? That number? 6. Absolutely phenomenal performance. They were on top of their game right from the first snap.
It'll be a loss of a couple on the play, so now third down coming up.
This defense is a difficult one to prepare for, one of the best in the league. They'll come at you from all angles, and they did a nice job there stopping him for a loss.
For the Colts, an extra defensive back in there now on third down. To the air, Allen. He'll get this into the hands of Breida. So he fought off the tackle, and that effort gives him the first before he's brought down. That one goes for 8 yards.
And CD, defensively, you're going against a hot quarterback coming off a 3-touchdown game in their victory a week ago. But what's the big key for them to try to slow him down?
You ask all the tough questions, don't you, partner? Because with this guy, if you blitz him, he takes advantage of that man coverage and burns you. But if you bring on those extra DBs, he sits back there and does what he wants. To me, it's going to be those DBs. When they catch the ball, big-time tackles really put it on those receivers.
Looking to throw again on second down. Allen. That's caught by his tight end, Dawson Knox. And they'll get him to the ground. He has another first down at the Colts 43. That one goes for 13 yards, and it moves the sticks. On first down, here's Breida. And he sneaks his way forward only for a couple here. Second down. Well, this defense for the Colts, they were very good in the win last week against Jacksonville.
I have to admit, I was extremely impressed by what I saw on tape because they stayed in the face of the quarterback the entire game, ended up getting 4 sacks total, and made it difficult for him to step up and find receivers downfield. Also made it hard for him to escape the pocket and run.
And he stopped immediately there. 2 runs in a row, but only 2 yards to show for it. Well, this defense for the Colts, they were very good in the win last week against Jacksonville.
Anytime you can hold a team to less than 10 points, your expectation winning that game has to be sky high. In fact, You'd be absolutely stunned to come away with a loss in that one. Could you imagine going to the press conference and trying to explain that?
The line to gain is the 33 on third down. Allen now looks to throw. Oh, hit as he throws there, incomplete.
They went with the dime look that time on defense, just flooded the field with defensive backs, blanketed everyone, took away all the passing angles, thus the incompletion.
And I tell you what, he got it from 58. That had lots of leg behind it. That kick, by the way, Charles, a career long.
Well, we did watch him in pregame, and he hit from this distance, so not a surprise. But there still is something exciting about it, carrying it over from practice and pregame to actually doing it in live action.
The Colts come to the line ready to start their next drive. And you know, it's certainly a lot of football left to play. We're not into December yet, but right now where we stand, they're in first place in their division, looking really good and looking to be a threat come January.
And are you one of those early holiday shoppers, partner? Are you one of those guys get your list done? Because I think about what every team has on their holiday shopping list right now. What's the number one goal? Make the playoffs. Number two, win your division. Number three, and I think the biggest goal of all, try to get the number one seed so you get that first round bye and ensure you don't have to go anywhere in January and hopefully get to the Super Bowl that way.
5 yards will get them back to the original line of scrimmage, but now they're looking at 3rd and 10. And the hole closes quickly there. He gets maybe a couple up to the 38.
Oh, that's a real nice job there by the defensive front. They just engaged and held their ground. But how about the guy who made the play? We often talk about whether they take a good first step or not. Many times you just don't take any step. Just get your feet moving, get your body going, and then once he made the read, he was able to make the play.
And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. A first down there on a pickup of 25. Looking to throw, Garoppolo. He'll get this complete to his running back, Bowden. And he is out of bounds inside the 30. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion. 3-0 after one on EA Sports. On second down now, it's Taylor. And he's able to get it to the edge of the red zone at the 20-yard line. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down. Inside the red zone, it's Garoppolo. That's complete to Tony. And a good gain here of 9 from the 19 down to the 10. Ball resting on the 10-yard line. It's 2nd and 1.
Fired that one in there, able to make connection on a nice in route.
With those faster passes, and they're going that fast, any hesitate, and he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Indianapolis. Jonathan Taylor with touchdown number 8 on the year. And the Colts have taken the lead. Extra point by Blankenship is up and good, and that makes it a 7-3 lead. So after the touchdown, here's Blankenship kicking off. From his end zone, Isaiah McKenzie. And he'll be dropped at the 21-yard line, so bringing it out of the end zone proves not a good decision, loses him about 4 yards. The
Bills come to the line to start their next drive. And, Charles, if the season ended today, and it's not going to, we still have December left.
More football.
We're only in November. But they would be a wild card team. And that's great. They'd be in the playoffs, but you know they're trying to bump up to be one of those division leaders.
That guarantees you at least one home game in the playoffs, and that's what you're really seeking. But there also isn't much margin for error for this team, right? Because right where they're sitting, a 2-game losing streak could have them out of the playoffs, so they've got to make sure they continue to keep the momentum going.
Absolutely. There's some sharks smelling blood in the water behind them. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4. Throwing now is Allen. He's got his target. It's the tight end Knox. And all the way home for a Bills touchdown. Dawson Knox, his 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Bills have retaken the lead. Pretty good response. They had given up the touchdown and the lead, but they struck back.
And I love the way that they just saw it happen. Took a quick exhale on the sidelines. So let's go get it back, and fast. Let's go ahead and throw the ball downfield and get our own 6 points.
A huge chunk play to regain that lead.
And Smith chooses not to return it, and they'll bring it out to the 25.
The Colts come to the line ready to start their next drive. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked. But you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
It's a gain of 34.
Well, partner, I'm not sure how this drive's going to end, but how about the way they flip field position there? A nice attacking play that picked up a heck of a chunk of yardage.
So the big play gets him across midfield now for 1st and 10. From the gun, it's Garoppolo. He's going to fire one deep left sideline. And it'll be intercepted. Picked off with great anticipation. Well, when I looked down, he was kind of shaking his head right after he threw that pass. What did you see?
Well, from a defense's perspective, anytime you have your eyes back towards the quarterback, you're in a position to make a play on the ball, whether it's a big-time play by you or an overthrow by the quarterback. You have a much better opportunity.
So after the INT, it's Allen. Over the middle, that's caught by Schwartz. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on 1st down.
Good throw, good catch, but I really like the route. The drag and being able to run away from defenders, hard to stick with them for that long.
Yeah, better against man than zone, or
better against man, because now you're running away from someone and you're not running into a defensive player in another zone.
Pretty good job defensively. Thought he was going to get it, but they knew where that marker was, and they stopped him just short of it.
What it does is emphasize that strategic football and situational football is not just played on the offensive side, is it? Defense understanding, as you noted, where the 1st down marker was and making sure they didn't get there.
They'll try to pick this up on the ground with Breida. And he gets it to the 34. Good enough for the 1st. And now here's a timeout called by the Colts on the defensive side of the ball. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this 2nd quarter.
Throwing on 1st down is Allen. He'll dump this down to Matt Breida. And he'll be tackled right on the chalk of the 45. Now the Colts going to burn the 2nd of their timeouts. That's their 2nd, so they'll have 1 remaining here in this 2nd quarter. We'll be right back. On 1st down, Allen. Out to the left, he's got his tight end Knox. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
To throw again on 2nd down. Allen. He's going to get this one out to his fullback. Breaks the tackle. He's got room to run. And he is out of bounds inside the 35. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. 10-7, our score. A reminder, once we hit halftime, as we do all season, we'll send it down to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have all the stats and scores from games in progress around the NFL.
The best multitasker in the business, the coach.
A gain of 3, second down. Now the Colts will use their third and final timeout. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward. Coming up on 2nd and 7. Here's Allen to throw it. And down he goes. They sack him back right around the 41-yard line. Credit the sack to the Oregon Duck, DeForest Buckner. It's now 3rd down. So after the sack, Allen and the Bills with work to do on 3rd and long. Now Allen. He's going to air one out. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off by Corey Willis. And this one will be brought back to the 22. And, Charles, that's now 4 interceptions over his last 3 halves of football. Because, remember, he threw 3 picks last week.
Starting to wonder if maybe defenses and those coordinators have identified something on tape with what he's doing.
They've got his man complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. It'll go as an impressive 31-yard gain. First down. Here we go. Working from the gun, Garoppolo. He's going to go up top again. And I think that one might have been intercepted, but he will be ruled out of bounds. So this will go only as incomplete.
Similar to a shooter in basketball, just connected on the previous shot. They run another set for him on the next play. Now we had a guy who made the catch. They tried to get the big one downfield, but came up empty.
20. Touchdown, Indianapolis. Kylen Granson, his 4th touchdown on the year. And the Colts are once again going to retake the lead. Blankenship out for the point after. And that makes it 14-10. Makes the score Colts 14, Bills 10. So after the touchdown, here's Blankenship kicking off. Oh, a good-looking return set up here. And all in all, a pretty solid return. Nearly got it to the 35. They'll mark him down officially at the 34. Buffalo offense ready to go for their next drive. And they'll take over with just 18 ticks remaining. Try to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. And he's going to be out up around the 45-yard line. Right off the bat, it's a first down to start the drive, 12 yards.
Another catch for him there on this drive, Brandon, and it looks like they're going to utilize him out of the backfield any way they can. And that time, they pick up a first down. So now on defense, you assign a man to him and try and cover him before he gets going.
Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete.
Certainly no lack of aggressiveness here. They were hoping for the home run play to get them 6 points. They're hoping for a catch, maybe a call, but they figure they can at least get into field goal range with a completion.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. Allen. They'll set up a screen for Breida. Now whistles and a timeout with 3 seconds left in the first half.
A final shot before half for Allen. And he's going to go down. Couldn't get a throw off with the pressure. Maybe that was for the best, as that brings us to the end of this first half of play. So we come to halftime here with the visiting Colts taking the lead to the locker room. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Coach, thanks as always. This one's still anyone's game as we welcome you back for quarter number 3. The Bills trail here, but they will get the football first as we are back underway on EA Sports. From his end zone, Isaiah McKenzie. And he'll be brought down shy of the 20, so the decision to bring it out of the end zone, not a good one. The Bills come to the line to start their next drive. And they're still very much in this game, although they do trail. What's the game plan, Charles, for the second half?
It might be a little counterintuitive because most people will think losing equals passing the ball more, but I'd establish the running game. They kind of went away from it in the first half. I think if they get back in balance, it'll help them when they put the ball back in the air.
The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6. Here's Allen. Oh, Allen cannot get away, and down he goes. DeForest Buckner picks up his 2nd sack of the afternoon.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in 3rd and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
And the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grades will be handed out thus far.
Throwing is Allen on 3rd. All right, rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked off by Avonte Maddox. And they're going to be set up in the red zone at the 15. The first half did not go their way, and that's not going to help matters at all. An interception here on the opening drive of the 3rd quarter.
Obviously not what they were striving to accomplish. But you know who's really upset on their team? The defense. Already trailing, they're going to be counted on to try and hold that score at least where it is.
Powers through him. That's complete. It's Collins. A gain of 6 there on 1st.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
And from the 9, they get this to the 5-yard line. In the first half, he was held in check on the ground, but despite that lack of production, they still have the lead.
Yeah, and they've got to feel fortunate about that. If they could actually get production from their lead horse, that would help open up this offense and widen this margin, too.
Heavy set out there on 3rd and 1. Now Garoppolo. And he goes backwards on this one, losing yardage to the 7. That'll back him up 2 yards and also bring up 4th.
No surprise they decided to throw on 3rd down. A little bit of a surprise that they completed the pass and lost yardage on the play.
And he missed it. It's no good. And this score will stay right where it is. And that one, my goodness, that was almost too easy.
Yeah, you're not going to have too many attempts shorter than that one. And I don't think this was blocked. That's about as bad a miss as you can have.
Buffalo offense ready to go for their next drive.
And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack him here.
Here's Allen on 1st and 10. He's going to wind up and air it out. And this one is incomplete.
I like the fact that he took the shot deep downfield. Even if you don't get the catch, maybe you get a defensive penalty and pick up the yardage that way.
3rd quarter of a tight football game as we come up on a 2nd and 10. Now Allen. And Allen going to be intercepted for the 3rd time. Picked
picked off at the 40. And they will finally put an end to the return, but not until he takes it back all the way inside the 10-yard line.
So that's back-to-back drives where they've thrown an interception. Ordinarily, we look at the offense and say, what's going on with your scheme? Maybe we should look at the defense and just give them a whole lot of credit. They've got them frustrated right now.
So after the INT, it's Garoppolo. Flushed out right toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
Partner, this is almost an unwinnable spot for a defense. They have to come right out for a 1st and goal trying to stop them. But let me hold on a second. Let me take that back real quick. They can win here if they force a field goal try. Still a long ways away from that happening, but that has to be what they're thinking right now.
And he takes this one in for a Colts touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And the Colts use the short field to their advantage as they cash in for 6.
Now Blankenship on for the PAT.
It's good, and it's 21-10.
Makes the score Colts 21, Bills 10.
So after the touchdown, here's Blankenship kicking off. From his end zone, Isaiah McKenzie. And this return will net positive as he gets past the 25 and up to the 27-yard line. The Bills come to the line to start their next drive. And they've sort of lost their way, partner. How do they recalibrate and get this proverbial train back on track?
Well, this is where leadership really comes into play. How's the head coach handling it? The offensive coordinator? Sometimes they just make a joke. All right, guys, you had your fun? All right.
Throw it out the window.
Yeah, let's get back on track here. And sometimes that'll work just fine.
I guess it's time now to lean on that leadership.
Check. 53's Mike. Check. 53's Mike. Let's go, D. Tighten up. Let's go, D. Tighten up. Let's go, let's go.
From the 29, Allen finding Knox there, complete.
And they finally do get him, but not before he reaches the 27.
Oftentimes now, offenses aren't nearly as precise as days gone by. They just tell receivers, find an open patch of grass and let the quarterback find you. And that's exactly what they did on that play. First with the pass through the air, nice chunk of yardage there, and then additional pickup with his legs after the catch.
But despite the completion, they're going to wind up losing 3 there. 2nd down.
53's the Mike. 53's the Mike. Watch the curl, watch the curl. Here we go.
And again, it's Allen. That'll be complete to Breida. And he will lose yardage here to the 31-yard line. Just a loss of a yard there, but it's not going to help. Now they face a 3rd and 14.
I don't know how well our microphones are picking it up for those of you at home, but Charles, you and I can hear it. A lot of groans right now coming from this crowd.
I don't know if we're picking up what's happening in the stadium or from the people who are supporting this team at home, because it's coming through loud and clear to you and me. This offense, they've been stuck in neutral much of the game. And now
he will find Diggs in the end zone. Touchdown, Buffalo. Stephon Diggs with touchdown number 8 on the year. And the Bills are able to cut into this deficit here in the final minute of the 3rd. And now Sean McDermott's made the call. They'll go for 2. Allen will try to throw for it. And he's got it. So the try for 2 successful. And with it, they're back within a field goal. I guess the coach looked at the 2-point cheat sheet, said go for it, get it to a 3-point game, and they did it.
Yeah, and sometimes you just throw out time of game. You don't worry about that. There's just a feel sometimes in making that call, and he felt good about what he had for a 2-point conversion, and now they're only down 3 and feeling great about themselves.
The Colts come to the line ready to start their next drive. Their lead down to a field goal now as they start with a 1st and 10. A carry by Taylor to start the drive.
And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27.
An opportunity to get a drive started here at the end of the third quarter. What you're trying to do is break the game down a little bit. Don't let your guys see too deep into the game, into the future, and say, oh, we got to get here. No, right here, right in front of them, melt the clock down, get to the fourth quarter, try and keep going.
And try to keep that lead.
Exactly.
Now a throw here, hauled in. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a third down. Garoppolo looking to throw on 3rd and 2. And that one not to be. It's incomplete. So they couldn't hook up as time has now run out on this third quarter of play. Back now in Buffalo. It's been a very hotly contested game to this point. Just a field goal separating these two teams as we get set for the fourth quarter. And out of bounds. This will depend on where they spot it. And they'll say at the 45. Buffalo offense ready to go for their next drive.
And you sense the tide turning. They scored, then their defense forced the punt, and now a chance to ultimately take the lead here late.
And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today.
Picked off by the rookie Tyson Campbell.
And he'll return it to the 24-yard line. So they elect to decline it.
And why not? Just go ahead and let the play stand, and they'll take that.
Throwing on first is Garoppolo. And he just gets rid of it. Throws it away. A wise move there. Looked like nobody open. Now 2nd down.
But listen, when you've got the lead, there's absolutely no sense trying to fit a ball in where you shouldn't. You can see the coaching in his head taking place on that play because he saw he had a receiver in the area. He just put it well over his head, out of harm's way.
On 2nd and 10. Garoppolo. He's going to loft one deep left side here. And look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Picked off by Micah Hyde. A critical error there in a tight game of the 4th.
All you talk about is taking care of the football, and especially with a lead here in the 4th quarter. Turning it over, now the door is open for the opposition.
Just in general, when you're passing in the 4th quarter with a lead, no matter what point, you got to be super careful.
Got to be careful, and sometimes you can be so careful that you end up running yourself into an error.
And this will be stopped at the 44. That one good for 7 yards.
Well, no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on 1st down, that fits the bill.
From the 44, Allen. Oh, he'll want that one back. Incomplete. He doesn't drop too many in that department. 3rd down.
Well, we've talked about it, CD, but it bears repeating. They are struggling to throw the football. All the interceptions and more incompletions. It just doesn't look like things are in sync out there.
I would agree with that, and it's not a good day when you feel like an incomplete pass is almost a win for you because it wasn't intercepted. And I think the receivers now, when they're running their routes, they want to catch the ball, but they also want to make sure that the defenders don't take it away.
And this will be incomplete. Boy, can you believe this? That one probably should have been picked too. Instead, it's 4th down.
And just a single punt for him in the loss last week as he sends this one away. And this one will wind up being down just outside of that 20-yard line.
At their own 22-yard line.
The Colts come to the line ready to start their next drive. Their defense got the stop, forced the punt, and now you really start to monitor the clock as they nurse this slim lead.
And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. They'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
I think it's pretty evident. We can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they've stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and they stopped him behind the line right there. They obviously watched the tape a few times and made some adjustments. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. Last play, they got stuffed at the line. Different story here, over 20 yards.
First and 10, Taylor now.
And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on second down. Now, I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely, you want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
Now this one complete downfield on the left side. Touchdown, Indianapolis.
Well, fair to say that when you're looking at guys that can run like the wind, you often find them at the wide receiver position, and that was special there. Extra point by Blankenship is up and good.
And his guys will take a 10-point lead.
So after the touchdown, here's Blankenship kicking off. And he'll wind up getting a couple extra yards here for his trouble and bringing it out of the end zone as he's down at the 27.
The Bills come to the line to start their next drive.
And you figure after giving up that last touchdown, they trail by 2 scores here in the fourth quarter. This drive becomes very critical.
Going deep for Diggs.
And boy, another ill-advised throw there as that will wind up incomplete.
This defense was definitely alert to the possibility of the deep ball, and they were more than ready for it.
They've got the lead, fourth quarter. Maybe can expect more passes like that downfield. To throw on second and 10. Allen going deep for Diggs.
And he's just throwing the ball up for grabs now. Fortunately, that one going to fall incomplete.
They're down 2 scores, and they need a quick one to try and get back into this one. That was one way to try and get it done. Unsuccessful in the attempt, but they have no choice but to keep trying.
The Bills on third down. They've converted 3 times in 8 chances. This is 3rd and 10.
Throwing now is Allen.
And it's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
I'm looking at this one with my defensive eyeglasses on because you remember the old days when a tight end saw a linebacker covering him and thought he had a mismatch? With the way they can run nowadays, not necessarily so. They gave it a shot downfield. That one incomplete.
All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on 4th down. They're going for it.
Now Allen, got to have this one. He's going to go deep for Beasley.
And now here is another interception. It's Desmond Trufant. And he'll take this across midfield and inside the 45.
Yet another interception, and I just had to double-check my math. But it is now 8 between last week and this week.
Well, I just used a calculator. I didn't worry about double-checking it. But the thing that always throws me when you see quarterbacks in this type of a bad spot, they're trying to figure out what they can do to change it, and sometimes they try too hard, and they never get out of it. And that's where he is right now. He's just locked in a really bad way.
Jordan Poyer, the league's leading tackler among safeties last year, in to make the stop.
Clock continuing to run. They'll probably wind this all the way before snapping it on second down.
They run once more with Taylor.
Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll set up a 3rd down.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
Meanwhile, on 3rd down, they take a shot at the end zone, but it's incomplete. Now here's Rigoberto Sanchez as he's on to punt for Indianapolis. And this will be up to the ruling of the side judge here. He says it crossed out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Buffalo offense ready to go for their next drive.
Their defense was able to force the punt. That's the good news. But this is still a two-score game, and they need points on this drive and in a relatively quick manner. Oh, he was hit as he threw it there, and that one winds up incomplete.
We've seen this quite a few times in this game. Offensive line unable to keep leverage, unable to keep people away, facing a lot of pressure. Fortunate just to get rid of it.
One of the reasons they're down is that inability, though, to stop the pressure. We saw another example of it there. And I think that one might have been intercepted, but he will be ruled out of bounds. So this will go only as incomplete.
They have to like what they've done defensively here at the outset of this drive. They forced a couple of incomplete passes, bring up a 3rd and 10. Don't be surprised to bring a little pressure on this snap.
An important play right here, 3rd and 10.
And I would expect pressure here.
To throw, it's Allen. Going deep for Diggs. He's got him in, complete. And he takes it all the way down to the 28-yard line. So there is the big arm of Josh Allen on display. He can throw it as deep as anybody, and that was an absolute laser.
Well, one way or the other, you knew they'd have to push the ball downfield on 3rd and long. But I'm not sure the defense was expecting to push it that far downfield. Their math didn't add up, but it certainly did for the offense.
To the air, Allen. And this is intercepted, and that should do it. Picked off inside the 10. And it's a good return here as he'll get all the way up close to the 35. Gosh, you add up last week and this week now, that's 9 interceptions in this 2-game stretch, and we're not done here.
It's almost as if they can't even believe their eyes. Or maybe, partner, is the confidence level in him so high that they believe he'll get out of it and make plays for them to win a game.
Well, they've said they believe in him. That's being tested right here. Now the Bills are going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming 2nd down play. Garoppolo's going to throw it. And intercepted. Maybe the turning point they need. Picked off by Micah Hyde. And he is going to score. It's a pick 6 and a Bills touchdown. Well, don't change that channel just yet. This one may have gotten a bit more interesting.
Put down the remote, put down the clicker. This one looked like it was over. It looked like they were ready to seal the deal. But in doing so, by pitching it around a little bit, it cost them. We could have a great finish.
Important extra point up and through. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this 4th quarter. On the return, here comes Smith out of the end zone.
At their own 25-yard line.
The Colts come to the line ready to start their next drive. And this one now not quite over yet. Still 2 timeouts remaining defensively. And boy, having that 3rd timeout would have really helped here.
Another example of why coaches really stress saving your timeouts for when you absolutely have to have them. They go over this all the time. Here's one of those situations.
Second and 12. And he'll work his way across the 30 to the 32. Now the Bills will use the 2nd of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with just over a minute to go in the game. An extra defensive back here for the Bills on third down. Again, it's Taylor. Boy, no chance as he was met and dropped behind the line there. The Bills are going to go ahead and use their final timeout, as he'll get it with just a shade under a minute to go in the game. Now here's Rigoberto Sanchez as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. A 40-yard punt, no return, and the offense will take over with a new set of downs. The Bills come to the line to start their next drive. They're only in need of a field goal, a decent amount of time on the clock. So tell me if I'm wrong. You don't have to be too panicked here.
No, not at all. I agree with you. And this is where your preparation and your confidence comes into play. They've worked on these situations.
Yeah, they practice this all the time.
They practice it all the time. They know what they want to get done. And in a lot of cases, the great competitors, they love this situation. They think they can go ahead and get it done.
They practiced it. We'll see if practice makes perfect. Allen. Well, this is taken in. It's complete. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. Well, going into the final play of this game, they knew that they needed some type of a miracle there at the very end, but they couldn't get it done. However, we were treated to really a spectacular affair.
Even though they didn't finish it off, you're exactly right. They took us down to the last play. We're still, you're wondering, could it happen? Possibly, even though we both knew it was a long shot.
So for Indianapolis, their playoff chances take an uptick as they move to 7-4. And they will head home next week to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Meanwhile, for the Bills, it's a loss that'll drop them back to 500 through 10 games. And they'll try to turn things around next week as they have a matchup in New Orleans against the Saints.